The book, The Gnomes of Grimblewood, features the option to add little feet to the bottom of your gnomes, and I'm just going to shoot a little tutorial here to help you figure out what you're doing to make these. They are optional little, not quite spherical little blips that we can put at the bottom of our gnomes to give them a really fun little personality. It's a great place to add color. I've seen people add little shoelaces and all sorts of little fun details. So they are an easy way to jazz up your gnome and have fun. If knitting very few stitches in the round is a pain point for you, I've got a whole video on tips for knitting in the round when there's very few stitches on the needle, and I will link that down below. I will also link the videos for both of the increases and both of the decreases, as well as the 3-needle bind off in the description box below. So all of those additional points of help will be there for you. We work straight for a little while, then we increase, knit a bit, decrease, and then we fasten the sides together using a 3-needle bind off. You could graft if you wanted to instead. That will add a little bit of shape to your toe, a little bit of row to your toe, whereas the 3-needle bind off consumes some rows. So just be aware, if you choose the grafting option, your foot will be a little larger, which could be something you're going for. I've already cast on and worked the first few rounds just regular plain old knit all, and now I'm at the first increase row. All of my patterns are written to be needle agnostic, so you can use DPNs, magic loop, 2 circulars, anything that you can use to knit small circumference in the round, that's fine. They're written for any needle method. Today I'm using magic loop. All right, so the first increase row has us knit 1, make 1 right, and I do have a video for the make 1, all the increases and decreases that are listed in this pattern. If you search my channel for those increases and decreases, pretty much anything I've put in a pattern I've tried to film a video for, so always do go search for that. All right, so now I come to the second, so I've done my knit 1, increase, knit 4. Now I'm going to do a make 1 left, knit 1, and now I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other half of the stitches. Since this is a part of the toy that is split into halves, it's actually really compatible with magic loop. That's not why I'm using magic loop today. I'm using magic loop because I don't have DPNs in this size of needle, so I'm always using magic loop for whatever I've got in this size to knit. All right, so that's the first increase row done. Then we knit 1 round and do another one exactly like that, where we've got the increases just set in 1 stitch from the side. So now we've done that plain knitting row. Now we're going to do our second increase. So I've knit 1, I'm going to make 1 right, knit, knit 2, this point, so I've knit 6, now we make 1 left, knit 1, and we do the exact same thing on the other half of the stitches. Having done both of our increase rounds, we're now at 20 stitches, so 10 per half, and we knit 2 rounds plain. So both of our decreases, like our increases, work 1 stitch in from the edge, so we will knit 1. Then I'm going to do a slip, slip, knit 2 together modified, where I only slip the first one knitwise, put it back on the needle, and then I knit those 2 through the back loop. I find the modified SSK a smoother left-leaning decrease, which is why I recommend it. Then on this side we can do a knit 2 together, which is a nice right-leaning decrease, knit 1. So now we're down to 8 stitches here, and I will repeat that on this second half. The second decrease row happens right away again, so we just go straight into another set of decreases. After we've worked the decreases, we are back to our original stitch count of 12 stitches, and I'm going to cut the yarn and flip the foot inside out. So I'm just going to give myself a nice long end to play with for the 3-needle bind off. Now you're just going to flip the foot inside out, so just push it through. And make sure the tail is out of your way. Don't weave this tail in. This is how we're going to be attaching the foot, so leave it for later. So now we just do a nice, easy 3-needle bind off as I said, there will be a slower step-by-step version linked down below. Having bound off all of the stitches, I've just got the one left, so I'm just going to pull on that, pop the needle through. Now that loop's not going to go anywhere. So now I'm just going to quickly sew in this end. I like to skim across the top of the fabric a little bit, splitting the plies. If this is going to be a toy, you could consider knotting it. So I just kind of go back and forth. Sometimes I do the duplicate stitch method of weaving in ends. That's my preferred way, but on the inside of this sort of thing, I just skim a bit of a zigzag across the top of the plies there, splitting them. I don't cut the end. This is just going to act as extra stuffing that I've already paid for. So I just flip the foot back, shove the end in to sort of pre-stuff. And then the tip for stuffing your feet is to picture this as a tree and to never stuff the trunk. So we don't want our stuffing to cover or to increase the size of this flat bit here. Think of this tab as the bit that's going to go under your gnome, and we don't want the feet to tip the gnome. This is puffy, it will be tipping the gnome. So we just want to stuff this round bit here. You don't need a lot, this is way too much. Start with a little bit, pop it in. You're just looking for enough stuffing that it changes the shape, gives it a little bit of structure on its own, and gives you a little bit of roundness there. You can see if it's going to flatten out. If it's a toy, you want to test if it'll flatten, because obviously it's going to get a lot more wear and tear and impact than shelf decoration. And in that case, you might want to stuff just a little bit more to keep the foot inflated. You don't have to stuff it all. It will obviously provide a different look, but as I said, you really want to stay away from this little tab of straight knitting at the bottom of the foot there. I'm going to do an entire video on assembling the gnomes. I'm going to use Nori as my example, and so I will also link that down below. I hope this helped you. Happy knitting!